When your cruise is about a week away, do you ever feel like you're super excited, but that last week can also feel kind of like chaotic and stressful? For me, even though I've been on lots of cruises, I still have that nagging feeling that I'm going to forget something. So this week, I'm actually in the final stretch before a cruise. And what I decided to do is turn on the camera as I ran errands and did stuff at home to prepare. So I'm sharing the exact steps I'm taking about a week before my cruise to get ready. In this video, I'm actually going to show you the 20 things that you need to do to ensure a smooth and unforgettable cruise the week and also the final day before your cruise. There's actually two things you want to do that day before that are kind of important, so we're going to get to that. But let's get right into the list, you guys. Number one is to start with that critical thing, and that's to print your cruise line boarding passes. So you probably already checked in with your cruise line like a month ago to a couple of weeks before the cruise. So you've already done all that, but now it's time to print that boarding pass and maybe even start a little folder to hold all of the documentation that you're going to need. And we're going to talk more about some other documents too. Number two, you're going to want to print off those luggage tags and attach these puppies to your suitcases. If you're flying to port, you might want to wait and put them on after your flight lands in case they get roughed up a little bit. So pop them in the folder if you're flying, but if you're driving, you can put them right onto that suitcase. Number three, this is something that people often forget. If you live in the United States, you can probably stop or hold your mail at the USPS website. You just basically Google USPS hold mail, and there's this form that pops up that allows you to enter in your address to see if you're eligible for a hold mail. This is such a relief for me. When I'm doing this, I also check to make sure that I don't have any like packages that are scheduled to arrive. And if I do, I let a neighbor know, hey, can you stop by and retrieve something off of my porch? Number four, this is an important one. You may have booked your pre-cruise hotel months and months ago if you're driving to port or flying to port and staying there a little bit beforehand. But now is a really good time just to quickly confirm your pre-cruise hotel. And if your hotel chain has an app, it's probably a good idea to download that app so that you can get a digital key and make sure that you're getting loyalty points for that chain. Number five, just like you confirmed your pre-cruise hotel, you might also want to confirm parking. So maybe you're parking at the airport and leaving your car before the cruise, or maybe you're parking at the cruise terminal, or you're doing a parking cruise. Wherever it is you're parking, pull up that reservation, print it off, and also double check the dates on your parking reservation to make sure that they are correct. Because sometimes airline parking lots, cruise ship parking lots, they can actually sell out. I'm actually cruising out of Galveston next week, and the lot I wanted was sold out. So it can happen, you guys. Number six, now's a good time for you to check that packing list that you have already probably made and print that sucker off, right? You're gonna wanna make sure that you've got everything on it. I find that this step here, just printing that packing list, reduces that feeling of anxiety for me because if it's on a list, I cannot forget it. Then number seven, you want to check the condition of your luggage. How are the wheels rolling? Do the zippers work? Are they big enough for you? Is the quality good? Are they going to withstand your cruise? Always check it out. Number eight, it's now time also to get that embarkation day bag packed, or at least get everything kind of laid out. And here is where you need the single most important thing you're going to cruise with, which is your passport, right? Oh my goodness. You've got to get that passport in that bag. And again, that's going to ease your mind just knowing you have your passport set aside. So also in that embarkation day bag, at minimum, you're going to want boarding documents, medications, and valuables. So if you just focus on those four things, passport, boarding docs, medication, and valuables, that's a good place to start, and you can add more things after that. Number nine thing you want to do is start packing your actual suitcases, so your clothing and your shoes, using that list. We recommend laying the clothes out on the bed, doing one last check, making sure that you're actually going to wear this stuff. So do the will I reach for it challenge. Look at the stuff, lay it out on your bed, walk away from it for a few hours and come back to it and ask yourself honestly, will I reach for that? If the answer is no, take that item out. Also, when you're doing that packing, watch that color palette that you've chosen and make sure that things coordinate. It's always great if you can pack neutrals. I personally love wearing color. Obviously, I'm wearing a bright pink sweater right now, but keep in mind things need to match. So double check all of that good stuff. All right, then it's actually time to pack everything into the suitcases. Now, some of you might wait until about the day before your cruise, and that's okay too. That's actually what I usually do, about 1 to 2 days before I do that. But you want to get those suitcases packed so that you know if everything fits in there, right? Number 10. Okay, this is a big one. Don't forget, especially if you are driving to the airport or driving to your embarkation port, to check and prepare your vehicle. That might mean getting your oil changed. It might mean checking out the tire pressure and putting a little air in those tires. And it definitely can mean stocking your car. Some of the stuff that I like to have in my car on road trips are paper towels, hand sanitizing wipes, and bottled water. And sometimes some snacks too, like car snacks. So make sure your car is nice and ready. Number 11. This is kind of a fun one for me. I always like an excuse to go shopping. So making a last-minute shopping run is usually something that I'll do. Typically speaking, I'll realize I forgot something like my toothpaste or, some soap or something like that. So I'll run out to the dollar store or Walmart or wherever and get those toiletries and maybe, again, some road snacks. So grab all those things, the very last-minute things, and get them into your suitcase. While you're there, it's time to do number 12. If you do your ATMing at the grocery store like I do, I don't actually have the right ATM in my town, so I have to get my cash at Walmart. But while you're at the store, get yourself some cash for your trip. It's really important to make sure that you travel with ample cash. Lots of $1 bills, $5 bills, and 20s. Obviously, when you go to the ATM, you can't ask for ones. So this will give you time about that week before your cruise to start breaking some of those 20s and getting some change. Or if you want, you could just go to the bank and ask for like $100 in ones. You will never regret having a lot of $1 bills, I promise you. Number 13, it's time to once again confirm those shore excursions that you already booked and print off those confirmations. It's a really good time just to make sure that you have contact information for your shore excursion provider, especially if you didn't book through the cruise line. And if you want a way to save about 40% on cruise shore excursions and make sure that you actually get back to the ship on time, our partners, Shore Excursion Group, are amazing, and I have an affiliate link down in the description of this video for you. Number 14, if you haven't already, make sure that you download the Cruise Line app. You need to have that on your phone for check-in. Usually there's no way around that anymore, so make sure that you get that done and get yourself logged in. Number 15, if you are not driving to port, let's just say you need to take an Uber or a Lyft or a shuttle, make sure that during that week before the cruise, you confirm any kind of transportation if you're not driving. You could schedule a Lyft, schedule an Uber, or that might just mean double checking the pricing for Lyft or Uber or something like that to make sure you kind of have an idea for what to budget for. Number 16, I know this is kind of woo-woo, you guys, but I think it's so important in the week before your cruise to focus on your health. If there's any way that you can get plenty of extra rest and try to eat really well, bulk up on those supplements, it's always a good idea because usually what happens is the week before a cruise, things get stressful, right? You're wrapping things up at work and you get kind of amped up and excited and it's harder to sleep. You have to focus on it. Make time for yourself and make time for that self-care. Number 17, don't forget to check the weather in the destination that you're heading to. If you have an iPhone, there's probably an app for that on your phone. You can check it out. I'm sure just about every phone these days has something built in, but you could always download an app that shows you the weather for your destination too. And number 18, don't forget to take time for the fun stuff. Maybe getting a manicure or a pedicure is something that you'd like to do, or maybe getting your hair done. As you can see, I desperately need to get my roots done this week, so I have that in my schedule. Okay, how about the day before? your cruise. This is a pretty critical time. In addition to the things that we've mentioned, there's two other critical things that you need to do the day before your cruise. The first thing is if you're flying at the 24-hour point, you need to check in for your flight online to ensure that you have done that step. Whether it means that you're allowed to get a boarding pass at that time, it will depend on your airline, but make sure you set an alarm on your phone to check in for your flight 24 hours before. Also, the day before you leave and the morning that you leave for your cruise is a great time to prepare your home. Things that you might want to think about: adjusting your thermostat so that your heater and air conditioner aren't running the whole time you're gone. Double check for plumbing leaks. Make sure that there's no toilets, sinks, or bathtubs or showers leaking. My husband loves when we come home to clean bed sheets. So he usually does the laundry. He washes the bed sheets, he washes the towels, so that when we come home, it's so relaxing to crawl into that bed after a long day of travel. And maybe even arrange for someone to check on your house. Maybe you're not getting a house sitter, but you are arranging for someone just to kind of stop by 1 or 2 times, make sure everything's okay, make sure there's no mail piling up or packages on your front porch. That's always a good idea. So how did we do, friends? Did I forget anything? If I did, make sure you let me know down below so that we can help out other people. And also be sure to check out our Amazon store for so many amazing resources for you, from motion sickness solutions to formal night ideas, even stuff for your theme nights and your deck parties on a cruise. You can find all of it there, and we'll link to it down below. We've also linked to a whole bunch of our favorite cruise packing lists and resources too, so be sure to check those out and let me know if this video was helpful for you. Until next time, we'll see you on the high seas. Bye-bye.